Last time on Dragon Ball New Age, we discovered the reason Rigor has arrived on Earth. When he was only a child, Vegeta mercilessly and in cold blood cut down his mother. And while at the moment the prince himself appears completely helpless against his vengeful half-brother, there still lies hope in the timely arrival of Goten and Piccolo. As the standoff continues, Rigor questions if he's going to fight or if he's simply trying to stare him to death. In reality, he's lost in thought, wondering if he could really be the legendary Saiyan, the warrior of legend. Though, he doesn't believe for a second he's as strong as he claims. But even if he's only half that strong, it'll still take almost all he has to match him. But if he's telling the truth, stopping that thought in its tracks, the prince resolves he's just trying to shake him up. He has to gamble, it's only a bluff. Unleashing yet another power-up, Sapari notes how Vegeta has jumped to almost an S+ ranking. Keeping track himself, Rigor notices how he went to 3/4 power, believing it'll make no difference. Vegeta screams for him to keep smiling, promising to wipe that smug look off his face. Not deterred, Rigor goads, "Regale me, I'm waiting to be impressed." A huge shockwave from Vegeta's location. The battle is heating up. Goten, pour on the speed. We have to hurry. Sapari comments on how Vegeta's combat power is far stronger than she'd originally calculated, wondering if his friends have similar abilities. The prince still tries to mental his way through the situation. He knows this guy is strong, but not invincible. That last attack should have taken some of the wind out of his sails. But as the dust clears, Rigor isn't fazed, smirking. That almost hurt. He cracks his neck, admitting he's not quite loosened up yet, and joking he doesn't want to pull a muscle. He decides he's feeling generous, offering one last chance for Vegeta to hit him with everything he's got before he's really going to retaliate. The prince can't believe he took that blast full force without even flinching. If he can shake off an attack like that, at 3/4 of his full strength, he has no choice but to use his full power. As much as he doesn't want to believe it, if he really is only using 60% of his power, and he can toy with him like this, then it won't matter what he does. He figures it's now or never. Rigor smiles, happy to see the peak of his adversary's power at last. Sapari grows frustrated to see that he's now well into the S+ rank, concerned if there's no limit to his reserves. His energy reaches its apex as Vegeta announces, "Now, you're finished." The invader knocks the attack away with just a kick, leaving our hero awestruck. Her scouter chiming, Sapari notes how his power has fallen back down to a regular S-class. That attack must have used up all his energy. Rigor questions if that was it. Was that his full power? He waited all these years and traveled across the universe for that? He thought for sure his own brother, the Prince of Saiyans, would have had more to him than that. He had expected much more. Regardless, he's had his chance. Now it's his turn. Rigor grins he's going to enjoy this and doesn't plan to be gentle. With nothing he can do, Vegeta lowers his fists, stuttering out he's sorry. Surprised, his foe asks him what that was he just said. The prince details he doesn't blame his brother for hating him. He has every right to. He himself has walked his path before. It's like a big, festering void on the inside, and you can never hate enough or kill enough to fill it. But the person who killed his mother isn't who he is anymore. Alas, he can't reverse what happened. If he could, he would. He would take it all back. But for whatever it's worth, he's sorry. Though his apology does nothing to give Rigor a semblance of peace. Turning up his nose to this, the Saiyan bellows, "You're sorry!" After everything he and his father put him through, all he has to say is sorry? How dare he mock him with such tripe? The murder of his mother, his exile, the countless sleepless nights haunted by endless nightmares, and an empty apology is supposed to fix everything. Asking if he thought he would somehow melt his heart with some sappy words and all would be forgiven. Spitting, he makes his stomach turn. Rigor questions, "You want forgiveness? You want atonement? All right, demanding he put up whatever futile effort he can into defending his own life while being crushed. He wants the prince to bleed and beg to be spared while he himself laughs at the notion. That is the only thing that will satisfy him, and only then will he accept his apology. With Vegeta on the ropes, the battle seems to be turning very quickly in favor of the invaders. But with Piccolo and Goten on the way, what do they have in mind to aid our hero? Asking if he's ready, Vegeta admits to himself this has gotten out of hand, but he thinks he has one last chance to beat him, as Rigor readies himself to end this. Easily manhandling Vegeta, the Saiyan finds himself bored. Touching down, he tells the prince since leaving planet Yelna, a challenge worthy of his strength has yet to present itself, admitting it was foolish of him to depend on him to rise to such an occasion. But in all honesty, he truly hoped he'd be strong enough to at least compete with him. And even though he himself is only using 60% of his strength, he overlaps twice of what Vegeta is, stating he doesn't even deserve his full power. He can just end him as he is now. Vegeta not speaking, Rigor begins to taunt him, telling him to say something profound he can carve into his gravestone. But our hero only mutters, "Watch your back." Watch my back? Ironically mirroring something he did when Vegeta invaded Earth, Piccolo brings the invaders' focus to him for a moment. Who, getting a look, realizes immediately surely this new warrior isn't from Earth. Nonetheless, he questions if he's come to interfere with this battle on Vegeta's behalf, urging this is a family matter, and should he persist, he will have no guilt in killing him as well. But fair warning, if that previous attack was any indication of his strength, he will fare no better than Vegeta, asking what he calls a pitiful attack like that. I'd like to call it a distraction. Coming out of nowhere, Goten is able to catch the Saiyan off guard. Sapari compliments that wasn't too bad. It's not often someone is able to catch her husband sleeping like that, and the one who kicked him seems to be a Super Saiyan. Curious how that could be. Although, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. At best, all they managed to do was make him angrier. Piccolo hollers for Vegeta to stand up. They boss some time, but not much. In doing so, the prince calls both of them fools. All they've done is seal their own fates. Wow, the combination of Goten and Piccolo were able to stave off Rigor for now. How long will they last against an opponent who can breeze through Super Saiyan 4? Will they try to talk some sense into him? Or is this all for naught? As Rigor brushes himself off, he commends these two new warriors. They actually managed to get him all dusty and even tore his combat undersuit. And echoing his wife, he also finds amazement in the discovery that one of his assailants is a Saiyan. Naturally, he thought there were none left living besides Vegeta, Sapari, and himself. Regardless, this fight is between him and Vegeta alone. In fact, this kind of makes him angry. Alas, he only cautions they consider their next few movements very wisely, because they will likely be their last. Goten inquires if they should run, at least until they have some more help. But Piccolo knows that would be pointless. They will have to face him again anyway, preferring to do so now, despite the impossible odds. Vegeta chimes that's even if they could escape, as he's starting to believe he can sense Ki. And even if he can, his wife has a sort of advanced scouter. They will have to make their stand here. When yet another Saiyan makes his arrival, Trunks, who asks if they'd like some help. Looking over to their foe, he can't help but exclaim, "Whoa, so that's the guy, huh?" His father admits they've really stepped in it deep this time. Though with this latest warrior, the villain only scoffs. Another dead idiot. Trunks goes to remove his jacket while commenting on the invader's immense ki, questioning what the deal is. His father details the two Saiyans' names and their relationship to one another, and the fact that he's apparently the big one's half-brother. Furthermore, he claims to be the legendary Saiyan, an ultra-powerful warrior of legend, the pure embodiment of rage. That makes him different from all of them, and he's here to kill Vegeta himself. Speaking of whom, Rigor growls as entertaining as all these new playmates may be. He is not amused. This was between him and Vegeta alone. So here's the deal. He'll give the rest of them 1 minute to decide. They can either stand aside and let Vegeta and himself settle this, or the whole lot of them can make peace with their maker before they're all killed. Even with all the others, the prince knows it'd still be up against the wall, and it'd still be completely futile. Piccolo asks if there are any suggestions. Standing around waiting to die doesn't really suit him. And there may be a way, though it's a long shot and will require all of them to keep him occupied alone, inquiring if they can handle that. Figuring certainty has never been their niche, the Namek then asks what exactly he has in mind. Turns out Vegeta has been developing a new technique. The blast should be enough to beat him. It requires at least 1 minute to concentrate that amount of power. Piccolo and the boys will have to distract him and then get him in the air after a minute. With their adversaries appearing to side with Vegeta instead of walking away, Sapari chortles it seems their little friends are making a futile plan, while Rigor merely looks on silently.